Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to yet another Cutter Top 10 video. And today we're doing another Canada soccer video. As you can see by me wearing the Canada soccer shirt. No number, because I am not a number. Nevertheless, we're going to talk about the top 10 Canadian soccer players of all time. And we have had some very good players in history and all that. So anyhow, one massive honorable mention is Jason DeVos because he was a great defender and all that. Anyway, here we go. Number 10 is Owen Hargreaves, mostly in the early 2000s. You know, he was born in Calgary and actually developed his soccer game in Canada. But then Bayern Munich and Manchester United came calling. I mean, two legendary clubs in Europe wanted Hargreaves. Hargreaves had English citizenship in a sense, so he represented England at the World Cup. Kind of pissing me off because, okay, Hargreaves is playing for my favorite World Cup nation, that'd be England. But still, he should have been for Canada. At least we would have done a little bit better. But hey, you know what? He did well for Bayern and Man U, especially in 2008, getting the championship, the Champions League. So it was just huge. I can kind of forgive him, I guess. He did play for Man U. Number 9 is Julian de Guzman. Julian de Guzman has skill, vision, and great player for Canada. And in fact, became the first Canadian to go to Spain to play for La Liga. La Liga Deportiva La Corona. Corona. I'll say that name. Cha-cha-cha. Anyway, so yeah. De Guzman was a pretty good player. Is a pretty good player in his own right. Number 8 is Charmaine Hooper. Charmaine Hooper was basically Canada's best women's soccer player before you know who, and she will be up on this list. But the fact of it is that Charmaine Hooper put up 129 caps, aka appearances, for the Canadian national women's team, scoring 71 goals, inspiring generations of female athletes. So she was basically the queen of Canadian soccer in the 90s, if you will. Canada wasn't bad at women's soccer in the 90s, but they weren't great either. But the good news is that, Charmaine was good. Unfortunately, the next massive superstar was supposed to be Cara Lane, but unfortunately, injuries ruined her career. She was at 15 years old, picked for Canada at the World Cup in 2003. So that was just big. Or was that the North American Championships? I can't remember. Number 7 is John Herdman. Yes, he's not a player, but he is a head coach, and he has had some great moments and all that. John Herdman came from New Zealand to coach the women's soccer team and was the head coach when Canada won those Olympic medals in 2012 and 2016. The 2 bronze medals, which isn't that bad. 2015 World Cup on home soil, we just couldn't beat those pesky Brits and was taken out in the quarterfinals. But then, yeah, Herdman did that, and then he shocked a lot of people by actually switching genders to the men's team and helping the men get to the 2022 World Cup, becoming the first team since 1986 to do so for Canada. Unfortunately, though, Herdman would have Canada lose to Belgium, Croatia, and Morocco. But nevertheless, I mean, there's a few positives. One, we scored a goal for once. We didn't score in 1986, but Canada scored. Alfonso Davies scored against Croatia, and I can't remember who. And it was own goal against Morocco. But anyway, yeah. And for a while, I mean, Morocco had actually in the round of 16 in the quarterfinals not given up a goal to either side in normal play. So that meant Canada was actually the last team to victimize Morocco till the semifinals. But yeah, John Herdman did the. Unfortunately, though, the women's soccer team, despite winning gold in 2020, were up against it. In 2024, they freaking did the drone with Bev Priestley, our coach, the drone attack. I mean, why would you want to do a drone attack to spy on people's practices? Why would Canada do such a thing? I mean, we were defending Olympic champions, but still, that put us in a very bad spot. Anyway, number 6 is Craig Forrest. Some people know him as a great analyst for the Premier League broadcast on Sportsnet when Sportsnet had Premier League. I think they kind of do still too, but not as much. But anyway, Craig Forrest actually started as a goalie in the English Premier League with Ipswich and West Ham. You know, Basinga's team, West Ham. But Ipswich, yeah. Craig Forrest was a decent player over in England, and he was the goalie in 2000 when Canada shocked the world and themselves by winning the Gold Cup, aka the CONCACAF North American Championship, being tournament MVP. If it wasn't for Forrest, I think we would have been screwed. Especially when Canada had to. Well, Canada was tied with Korea for second in the group. Goal scored didn't do anything. Head to head didn't do anything. Goal differential didn't do anything. They had to have a freaking coin flip, and Canada won the coin flip. So that meant the tournament match against Mexico, which Forrest played his heart out. Despite Mexico scoring first, Canada won the game 2-1 in extra time. They shocked the world and the number 8 team at that point. Canada would take on Trinidad and Tobago in the semifinals, beat them. Craig Forrest pitching a shutout, or clean sheet, if you will. And in the final against Colombia, Canada won. In fact, a lot of people, and I forgot to mention this when I talked about the top 10 Canadian soccer moments of all time, moments, not players, was that, you know, this is the only time since the Gold Cup was invented in 1991 to definitively give the CONCACAF North American champion. This is the only Gold Cup in 2000 that was not won by either the U.S. or Mexico. They've had a monopoly, but there's been a third nation. That's us, bitches. Sorry, I say it. Anyway, number 5 is another goalie, Karina LeBlanc, who helped Canada get to 5 Women's World Cups. Canada didn't do that badly. We did get 4th place in 2003, which is still the record. But anyway, yeah, Karina was huge. And then she somehow was healthy enough to be the backup for Canada in 2012 when Canada won the Olympic bronze medal in England. Well, in London at the Olympics. Canada got hosed over by that damn Norwegian referee against the Americans and all that. Because some stupid calls and all that. Fortunately, Canada beat France and basically stuck it up that Norwegian referee's behind. But she does have a lot of leadership on and off the pitch. Number 4 is Atiba Hutchinson. Known for his consistency and professionalism, Hutchinson has had some great success in Europe for clubs such as Besiktas in Turkey. He's played in the Premier League. He's played for many teams. And the thing is, Atiba Hutchinson is kind of close to my age. He was born in 1985, like yours truly. But yeah, he's a cornerstone for the national team, and heck, he became one of the 10 oldest players to play in a World Cup match when he got in 2022. So it was just amazing to see Hutchinson be able to play for Canada at the World Cup and give him a World Cup cap, if you will. Number 3 is Dwayne De Rosario. Dwayne De Rosario was pretty good for Canada and all that in the lean years in which Canada couldn't even beat Honduras. So yeah, De Rosario did excel in Major League Soccer, winning 4 MLS Cups, 1-time MVP, including a couple of titles with Houston and I think a couple with San Jose. But anyway, De Rosario gave Canada some proudness and all of that. In fact, he was the only Canadian to score a goal at the MLS Cup final until Ahmed Ali did so for Vancouver just this past week as of taping against Inter Miami, but fucking Miami and Messi won. But anyway, yeah, his creativity and leadership were vital for club and country despite him not getting to a World Cup. Number 2 is Alphonso Davies. I know you'll be thinking, why is he not number 1? There's a good reason. But anyway, Alphonso Davies is a defender, a left back, if you will, for Bayern Munich. I mean, he played for Vancouver in MLS, and then Bayern Munich just salivated over this Canadian. And it was like weird how a team like Bayern Munich would have a Canadian on their squad. Davies has been known for his pace, technical skill, and versatility, becoming the first Canadian male to win the Champions League. I guess Hargreaves didn't. I thought Hargreaves was part of the 2008 squad. But anyway, yeah, he was pivotal for Canada's resurgence on the world stage and made Canada not be a freaking punching bag in North American soccer. Because, you know, US, Mexico, who's the third best team? Well, it's Canada now. But the fact is that, you know, Canada had a dark period. But anyway, yeah, Canada, that's and Alfonso Davies, he was a little injury prone, and he has been injured at the worst possible time, including close to the 2024, excuse me, Copa America. But, you know, his versatility, and hopefully he'll be back this year for the 2026 tournament. And number one is one of the greatest women's soccer players around. Her name is Christine Sinclair. She is actually, she was at the time of my writing the all-time leading international goal scorer for men and women. But I don't think it's her. I think it's Abby Wambach. I said Megan Rapinoe, but I'm wrong. I think it's still Wambach, is it not? But nevertheless, she has had some great leadership and all that. She was there for Canada in the late 2000s and then the 2010s, trying to help Canada win something good at the World Cup held in Canada in 2015. But unfortunately, we lost the quarters to England. Sinclair did her job. She had the most goals for men and women and all that for a little bit. But Sinclair kept pushing around for Portland, winning a couple of great National Women's Soccer League titles for Portland. And then in 2021, in the delayed Tokyo pandemic shaped Olympics, she helped Canada shock the world by beating Sweden in the penalty shootout and winning gold. It was just one of the most unbelievable moments in Canadian soccer history to see Christine Sinclair win it for Canada. So yeah, she's been big. Her number 12. I think Portland retired her number. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, Christine Sinclair will always be one of the best soccer players Canadians will know and love. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.